People wala.
Niake.
Janet.
Chris. Kendrick. Gwena. Carrie.
Stongo.
Madawaka.
Kunamante.
Unsta Hidadish. Corey.
Wena. Wait, did you already say that?
No.
Okay.
Kudamante.
I already said that.
Don Kois. Yatahe.
Kickadoos. Kickadoos. Shanoa. Yeah. Mary Faye. What else? Do we leave any out? Oh, Hanapi. Hanapi. Miigwech. Good morning. Good morning. Live from 1950 South Shepherd.
Chippy.
Here in L Town.
Bono.
Bono.
El Bono.
Bono. Do you remember any of the Cheyenne that you learned?
Yeah.
Pivawoom Matsime.
I like that.
Yeah. Pivawoom Matsime.
And was it Vatum? Welcome?
Yeah.
Vatum?
No, Watum.
Vatum.
Welcome.
I was
You
trying
know,
I was trying to use
we need to use it more so it becomes. Oh, Ishpiva.
Ishpava. Ishpiva.
Okay, Repo girl.
Hey,
Yeah. Oh, now she see it.
hey.
Oh, she's Cato and Repo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already forgot.
Remember, it's toast.
Dose.
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 Haba.
Well, to the men you would say haba,
Haba.
but to women it's always dose.
Dose.
And women never say haba. See, I don't know. It's still kind of confusing to me. You know, like I was exposed a little bit to the Cheyenne. That's why like it's so easy for me, I think, to grasp the concept because you hear it enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully, you know, I wouldn't mind introducing myself in both. You know, because you know we represent both.
Right.
I would hate for anybody to ever feel left out. So if you're from a different tribe, let us know how to say it in your language, and we would definitely try. You know, we're trying to learn as many good mornings, or you know, and that's a more of a modern term. You know, a lot of tribes, you know, didn't, you know, that's you know, we know where that term comes from, but you know, like yeah, like you know that's a modern day type of greeting. So you know, some tribes have to like figure out a way to say that.
Yeah.
Because you know, if you camp right next to somebody, you're not gonna wake up. Oh, hey, good morning. You know what I mean? Like you didn't just see them 8 hours ago, 6 hours ago.
Yeah.
Just start right off back into the same conversation.
Well, that one time.
Yeah. But yeah, good morning. Good morning. How was your Mother's Day?
It was good. It was great. I'm grateful. How about yours?
It was good. You know, Thunder won.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thunder won. Got to see my brother. Got to see my brother Ralph yesterday. You know, got to hang out with my daughters. You know, which was, you know, it was my daughter's first. It was my. You need a mic? Yeah. My daughter's first Mother's Day as a mother. So you know, that's
how'd she take it?
I mean, you know, she's the one that kind of organized us getting together. It's more or less like her mom's family, you know, because they're all so local. You know, but I mean, you know, even before me and her had kids, I was at most of their family gatherings. You know what I mean? Since I was a kid, so
yeah,
it's like it's not. I don't feel unnatural being there. You know what I mean? Like I've been going for like most of my life is to their family gatherings, and you know, that only happened because I was like real good friends with her cousins. You know what I mean? Like that just kind of happened. Yeah. But I mean, you know, I got to talk to my mom. You know, me and my mom messaged each other, and you know, I didn't get to tell my sister happy Mother's Day though. I know.
Dang.
But I mean, she knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
She knows. She's the only sister out of 6 of us.
Oh,
She's the only girl.
God.
So
Only mother.
I always like to say I have 5 brothers, but one just happens to think she's a girl, and that's Drew.
Hey.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
But-
But yeah, it was good. Always good. Always great to celebrate our mothers, and like the same conversation always comes up in my head. Like they carry. Look how long they've been carrying us. Carrying our people. Not all men, but for the most part, I think about my family. Not my my Wilson side, but I think about my Botone side. And my family struggled there, man. Like, oh man, my family, you know, um we kind of lost our place. And it didn't just start with my generation. You know, uh my grandpa, he kind of he was struggling. He was an alcoholic. And then I think about my dad's generation and all of them. He died whenever I was 23. You know what I mean? And he was like the oldest one out of his brothers and sisters. They had already all died. And then, I mean, Botones, but he had another half brother who lived maybe 10, 15 more years. I think my uncle's been gone like maybe 10 years, something like that. But, I was just thinking about that yesterday. Like, man, it feels good. It feels good to be sober. Feels good to be present. Feels good, just because when we were at the cookout, my one of my cousins shows up, and last time I talked to him, he was in a program, and I see him, and he didn't look sober. You know what I mean? And like he comes up and was like, "Let me get $20." I was like, man, like, why's it got to be 20? You know what I mean? Like, I know it costs $20. Yeah. And I hated the fact that, I couldn't, he didn't even know what day it was.
Dang.
Whose birthday is it? Like, it's Mother's Day. Oh, is it? Didn't even tell anybody. Like, oh, happy Mother's Day. Or
Oh,
he's like, let me get that money.
yeah.
Where's my hats? You know what I mean? Like, told me he's gonna beat me up. And then our other brother comes over. My brother comes over and sits down. He's like, then this guy's still tearing it. Like, started teasing him. Dang, guy, like, when you ever gonna get tired of, like,
Dang.
and I don't know, it just made me think about, like where I came from. Like my process, and I pray and I pray for my cousin to just understand, like, man, like he was doing good for a while. He was sober for, you know, 4 months, I think he said.
Mm.
He had been sober for 4 months, and prayed for him. Was real thankful. Because we hadn't heard from each other in a while, but you know, it's just, man, it's just tough. Like,
Yeah.
I remember my grandma before my grandma passed away. My grandma told me, when you get older, you might have to take care of your brother. And that's kind of how we were raised. We were raised as brothers, but we're first cousins. His mom and my dad are brother and sister. And, it's just one of those things like, man, like, that's tough.
Yeah.
He's had a tough life. I do got to give him props though. He said, man, I ain't going back to prison. I ain't been in trouble in 4 years. his whole life, that's the longest he ain't ever been to prison.
Mm.
You know, like he's been out for 4 years since he's turned 18. You know what I mean? Whereas before, he might be out 6 months to a year. He might last a year, and then go back and do, 10 years. He's damn near 50.
Yeah.
Damn near 50, Brother still gangbanging. You know what I
Still got that mindset.
and it just sucks, because, I love my brother, man. I don't want to, I think everybody deserves to have a good life.
Yeah.
But then it just makes me, I started thinking back to my grandpa. I started thinking about, like he had to have went through the boarding school era, and had that disconnect, like they talk about, I think that's where it began for, on that side of my family. I don't know though. I don't know him. I don't know him good enough to like judge him or to say, but I know that he was alcoholic. He was killed in Phoenix, Arizona. He got hit by a truck and got drugged for 2 blocks. That's what my dad said. And I don't know, like my dad had some kind of resentment towards him.
Mm.
Kind of talked about him like he was his dad. But at the same time, I guess it's like he was just alcoholic. And that's why I was just thinking about all this yesterday, thinking about how strong our women have been all these years. I'm from like all women community, over there in Thomas. I think about, I was very, very lucky, man. My grandma Mary, my Aunt Carol. Uh, I think about, my Aunt Dee, my Aunt Teddy. Man, my Aunt Teddy was so funny. Like my Aunt Sharon, my Aunt Betty, man, just my Aunt Lou, Wani, uh, my Aunt Alice, my Aunt Jody, like there's just Della, Barbara, like I was from like a community of women. You know what I mean? Grandma Annabelle, Grandma Jessie, Grandma Minnie, like just like I feel very, very fortunate. Very, very fortunate to have them be a part of my life. Like it was an amazing thing. I didn't know who I was related to and who I wasn't related to because they all treated me the same. You know what I mean? Like they all treated me the same. If they seen me doing something wrong, they'd get on to me. Like it was just one of those things where I was very, very blessed. And you don't think about it then. You probably take advantage of it. Then but as I've gotten older and kind of get to reflect now on what was, I still feel very, very fortunate, about what the creator has allowed in my life, the love I was exposed to. So I got to reflect on these things yesterday. Nat was she went to her grounds were having a stomp dance. So I didn't want to go and be a burden. I didn't want because I'm blind.
Mhm.
I didn't want to go there and have to be led everywhere and have her worry about me when I know she's got like some clan duties. So I just stayed home. And just hung out with my granddaughter. You know, only one bothering around.
Hey.
But I just thought I got to reflect on this yesterday because everybody left. Everybody left. I was there by myself for a couple hours, and I just got to sit there and just get in my thoughts and think about the mothers that have touched my life. Man,
Beautiful.
I feel very, very blessed.
Mm.
Very, very blessed. So, you know,
What y'all?
Damn, how long was that? Yeah, do we got any comments?
Yeah, we got a lot. God.
Why don't you scroll up?
Scroll up.
Pawn Killer Derek says, "Good morning, brothers. Sobriety date February 7th, 2025, from Apache, Oklahoma."
Oh, hey.
heck
Hey, I
yeah.
know some more.
Yeah.
I know my brother over there in Shawnee. His name is Chubb Ponkiller. Yeah, that's one of my brothers over there. So they're probably related more than likely.
Yeah.
But good morning. Thank you for sharing that sobriety
Yeah.
day. Keep going, brother.
Hold it.
One day at a time.
Carrie Neneto says,
Yes.
"Snack bags with blue chews and gyms both."
What?
I would rather not need them and have them than
Need them.
and not have
Hey.
'em,
Hey, nigga.
Blue chews.
Not the blue chew.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning. Good night, brother.
Nah.
Good night.
He said, "Carrie, shout out to Star. The meat pies are on point, homie." OCO from Kimberly Sexy.
Oh, Sio.
Yo.
McKay says, "Sometimes people that are not used to the chaos and find peace to boredom, so will create chaos if there is none around."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I used to need that chaos. I used to need that chaos to keep using.
That madness.
Yes, that madness, that obsession. You know, like it's like however like I can associate it with an obsession.
Mm.
You know, like how can I make drugs and alcohol important in my life? Chaos. You know what I mean? Like that's easy, it's that obsession. You know, when you have that obsession, I mean, like what does obsession mean to you, Mingo?
It's like I don't know, something you gotta have, or
Yeah, something that you have to have.
yeah,
You don't need it.
you don't need it, but
You don't need
I
it,
need
but
to
you
have it.
have to have it.
Like-
You know, and by any means necessary.
Like I need that bread. I just want some bread.
Break that bread, Fred.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
toast it. Yeah.
you know, but it's like I associate that chaos with the obsession. I later learned that it's because I was not born, but I developed the obsession. You know, when life is just lifing. It's easier to turn to chaos.
Yep.
And it's because then you ain't got to sit in your own thoughts.
Mhm.
You ain't got to
Wanna-
sit in your own thoughts when you got a chaos going on,
yeah.
and you can reflect what's going on in your head onto somebody else.
Mhm.
How?
Yeah.
He's winding up.
Yeah. Good morning, is it Andrea? Andrea.
Andrea Alexander.
Yep, NTAA.
How you
Man, sorry,
get your life together?
I'm trying.
Good morning, AA.
Nyakit Charlene.
Nyakit,
Nyakit.
Charlene.
Good morning, Mary Beaver.
Good morning, David Deere.
Oh,
Stongo.
Stongo.
Stongo David. Is that it?
Ah, dang.
Andrea. put-
Andrea left. Oh, my bad.
oh,
Andrea, see.
She put what?
Yeah, we got Andrea Andrea.
Yeah, well, we have an Andrea downstairs. She
Yeah.
spells it the exact same way.
So it
And
kinda
I was
goes-
doing it for a while too.
Yeah.
Every time I'd see
bad,
that name
NTA.
afterwards. So yeah,
No,
we know
no.
we know exactly who Andrea Alexander is.
I'm just gonna say Auntie Alexandra.
We better get into this reading before Mingo gets us in trouble.
I know. It'll be like SIDS all over. Wait till I share that joke June 5th.
I gotta hear this.
Well, it's not a joke, it's a story. All right. Today, May 12th. All the stones that are around here, each one has a language of its own. Even the earth has a song. Wallace Black Elk Lakota. To believe that every tree, plant, insect can talk takes an open mind. Go by yourself into nature and sit quietly. Then pick up a rock and listen to your thoughts. After a while, put down that rock, pick up another rock. Your thoughts will change. These are the voices and wisdoms that are willing to share their wisdom with you. Many of the stone people are very old and very wise. Great Spirit, let every rock and leaf be my teacher. Oh.
Mado.
So, what's your thoughts, Mr. Boto?
Nothing.
No, not
Go ahead.
Yeah. Stones.
Thank you, Mr. Billholt, for reading that.
Hey.
Yeah. Thank you, White Spider.
Yeah.
You know what I always go to, you know, like once I kind of like thought of this concept one day or this ideal or you know, just thinking about my own life experience. You know, like Cheyennes, we believe that everything is alive, right? I think most natives think that way. You know, the majority of us know like everything is alive. Like our spirituality is like on a whole nother level.
Mhm.
And what I always think about, you know, is when I think about rocks, when I think about you know, I automatically think about the sweat ceremony. You know, going in the imam and speaking to those grandfathers and leaving all your problems there. You know, like you know, they say that's like crawling back into your mother's womb because you leave everything there. And when you crawl out, you're reborn, right? Well, I think about everything that it takes for that ceremony to take place. You know, sometimes we get rocks from New Mexico. Sometimes they come from, you know, down south. You know, like wherever like people can find these rocks, they'll bring them to us because they know we like to sweat, right? Well, then I think back even further than that. Like how far back do you think it was that those rocks were formed?
Way back.
Millions of years ago. You know what I mean? Like them lava rocks? Millions of years ago. And to think millions of years ago, the creator knew what their purpose was. Then when they were formed. Like to think about that, like the creator would allow all that time, all the, you know, the world has changed and changed and changed to be brought to our ceremony and to be allowed to let us pray with those rocks. Like to think about it that way, like it blows my mind.
Mhm.
You know, like it really makes me think about, you know, like you know, like did the creator know I was gonna come with these prayer requests? You know, did he know like millions and millions of years ago? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's powerful.
Yeah.
To me, that is so powerful. When I think about it in that sense, like that's amazing. You know, then I think about all the things that go into us having a sweat. You know, that wood, you know, for the fire, them rocks, um, you know, all the different medicines that we burn in there to purify ourselves. Like where they came from, you know, or the roots, you know, maybe we use bear root or something. You know, it's amazing to me to think, you know, like the life, you know, that like these things are here to help us. You know, and to think like, you know, like I think I used to read a lot of, you know, a lot of books whenever I was younger about Cheyennes or whatever. You know, like anything that was Cheyenne, I wanted to read about it. And I was mostly like going through my grandma's library. She had a little She had about 4 rows of books in this bookcase, and just go through. And when I didn't have nothing to do, I started reading about Cheyennes. And one of the things that like a Cheyenne would have a death song, right, when he's about to go into battle. And like one of the things that they would always say in their death songs is that only the rocks live forever. You know what I mean? Like those are the only things that live forever. So, those are the types of thoughts that I get to have today. Thinking about, man, like when, like lava rocks, you know what I mean? Like, when's the last time lava to be in America? You know what I mean? Like, that's been a while ago, like for us to be able to go and get them rocks and bring them to our sweat and to be able to use them for our prayers. Like, that's amazing. That's amazing. Like, and I'm sure the creator knew, when he made those rocks,
Yeah.
what they were going to be used for. And, I going to sweat has became part of my sobriety. Like that's why I like Will Brighty, because it talks about going to ceremony and doing some of your step work there. Because you're not going to get in there and lie. You're not going to get in there. You don't lie to the creator. Like
Hey.
yeah, like he's gonna know your true intentions. He's gonna know your true heart. He's not gonna listen to your words. He's gonna listen to your heart. So I mean, I've had some amazing things happen for me, my family. Seen some things turn around for people. When they go into sweat and ask for, good health, a long life. See those types of things materialize in real time. Like I was looking at my brother Junior's post I was looking at his post this morning about having a another chance, and how your life can be a canvas, and you should probably use vibrant colors. You know what I mean? And he believes the same way I do. My brother Anhas. I feel very fortunate. I feel very fortunate that the Creator allowed me to come back. And every time I'll go, I'll keep praying for my brother, who's lost. Every time, man, every time, even when he's doing good, even when he was doing good, I was still praying for him. Because you never know, you never know what's gonna happen. I asked him, why did you leave? Why did you leave that program?
Yeah.
Why did like you were doing so good?
What happened?
He was like, my kid's mom didn't let me see my kids on Easter.
Man.
And like I was like, oh, like you've probably only seen them like 5 times their whole life. And you're gonna use that, but you never know. You never know what it's gonna take for a person. And I'll keep praying, I'll keep turning to those rocks. I'll keep turning to those grandfathers and asking for the things that not that I want, but the things that people need. And it's just part of it, just part of it. I understand we can't save everybody, but it hurts, when it's somebody that you care and love about,
Yep.
I said care and love about, love and care about.
Hurts.
So go ahead, brother.
Brother. Thank you for sharing that.
Mado.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
does hurt. Hey, why though? Yeah, that does hurt. Seeing somebody you love, or somebody you care, that fall back into the the chaos, the
Mhm.
madness. But we don't ever give up on them. Just let them know that we still love them. Let them know that
Sure.
it's still possible. We fall off. We're just humans. We make mistakes, but he still loves me. Hey. but
Brother Toby.
but I think the Rock, man, just my, it's my last. I went to Sweat the last 2 times,
Yeah.
and it was my first ever. So I'm 34, and it was a good experience to see those rocks beaming hot and able to pray and sing and pray, just from the heart, just to sing along and uh think I don't know, all everybody that I know, friends, family, even the ones that have passed on the spirit world, just able to pray for them and their family, you know, a good way like that. And coming out is like, man, it's like, yeah, like you said, being reborn, being feeling that nice natural cool air hitting you as you crawl out. It was amazing, and I'm just glad I get to do this. And like you said, what it takes to get that ceremony going, and all the, and the brother that was running it, he used to run around with my grandpa, my Nimsham Bruce. So it was just amazing how all that, all the connectedness is coming together with our brothers and sisters in there, and it's just amazing. It's powerful, and and just being Mother's Day yesterday, and every day Mother Day.
Yeah.
Thankful for all these our women, powerful women. Me and the brother was getting food ready and stuff, and he was like, "Well, we're all here because of them." They let us. They not let us, but we. They brought us into this world, and just thankful for that. And thankful for how strong the women are to put up with us men. Hey. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. I watched a comedian show a while back. It was like, he was like, "Hey, all you brothers, look to your woman, give her a kiss, and just tell her thank you for putting up with my, with my, with myself, and just tell them thank you for putting up with everything, and or I know we're not perfect, but we can just be as best as we can be." But I think it's a struggle every day too with our daily battles and our angry and being being humble, being patient, being a warrior, and remember, like, we have these women here that the support, and men too. We have everybody that we need, and be able to, like, for my mom and my aunties, they don't sugarcoat nothing. They tell you straight up. And, it's like,
Your
but
feet stink, boy.
yeah, but I love hearing it, even though I may not sound like I do. But it's good medicine, to learn and get that knowledge, and knowing that, because they love you. They want you to succeed and do
The
well.
best for you, yeah.
They're a little mad at you, but they're not, mad at you. They love you for that reason, to get better and able to not make that mistake again, or make a better choice the next time come around. But that's also Mado. We got some comments here.
Misty Hickson says, "Good morning, y'all."
Oh, good morning, Misty.
Good morning, Misty.
Geraldine Doibai says, "Ki onde da." It's a good
Keonde
day.
da.
Oh.
K-Dat.
Anadarko had
Ow.
Ay.
The Kawaleafs.
Jaina Necklace says, "Hahani." Wolf necklace.
Wolf necklace.
How much are those res covery shirts? I want a couple. I can send some
Which
res
one? Mine?
covery shirts. You can trade.
Oh, that one?
Yeah. Are y'all still selling those?
We got a
Yeah, we got to
re-release.
Next time it's like a fundraiser through Custom Ink, and we design the shirt, and then you buy it from Custom Ink, and we get the proceeds. But I think we do need to re-release them. A lot of them. We went through, like, how many did we make? About three or four shirts.
Yeah.
A black one, a white one that says "Keen, Sober, Deadly."
Yeah.
Oh, then the "Tell Your Story" one. Tell their story, meaning, people who have overdosed. So, I mean, yeah, next time we do one, which we should be doing one soon.
Yeah. Where's Darian too?
Yeah, where the hell is Darian?
Oh.
He's not passionate about it. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so hopefully, we can next time we have one, you will definitely we'll tag you.
Yeah.
We'll definitely tag you.
John Tobias.
Good morning, brother.
Good morning.
Tobias posted something yesterday about my aunt Rosanna. Man, my aunt, Roseanne Morales. And it got me thinking, like, I started thinking about when I moved to El Reno, and my mom's in Thomas, and I moved to El Reno, and my dad was going to school at Okmulgee, OSU Tech, and he had sobered up. He was trying to get his life together, and I picked up, where he left off. I started tearing it, and
Dang.
I kind of felt pretty lonely. Came from a whole house full of brothers and sisters to my grandma's.
Mm.
Where there wasn't she worked all the time. She loved bingo.
Hey.
Living her best
Adopt.
life.
You went to Darlington?
Yeah, I went to Darlington for 1 year, and I went looking for family in other places. And my Aunt Roseanne, man, she was so good to me.
Mm.
She was one of those motherly figures. One of those people that her and my dad were close. They told a story about when they were kids. My dad saved her one time. My dad saved her one time, and she never ever forgot it. And I was just thinking about, after I read his post, and just, got me thinking about my grandma Minnie. It feels good to reflect on those types of things. And my brother Toby, man, he's a good brother. He's a real good brother. And thank you for sharing that, Tobias. It took me down memory lane.
Mm.
Took me down memory lane. And my Aunt Rosanna, man, she was a good one. Rosanna Morales, and she would crack me up because she always had on real bright red lipstick, right? She's a beautiful lady. And, when she would say something, she'd go,
Yeah.
she'd be like,
That's where.
yeah,
Yeah.
like hell yeah, But I was just thinking about that yesterday. Just it was cool. It was cool to kind of sit back and reflect on, who's had an impact on my life.
Mm.
Positive or negative. I was thinking about this too
Yeah.
yesterday. Like I'm even thankful for the ones that were a negative impact.
Mhm.
Like
Like,
I don't know what you can call that. But I
Like-
guess I'm grateful for the ones that had a negative impact.
like a bad teacher.
Well, like different just situations, that happened in my life. Like that created trauma.
Mm.
And it's crazy. Like I'm so hard headed. Like I got to go through the bad to realize what's good.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like you can't just tell me don't do that. Cut your finger off, and I'm walking around like, yeah,
Yeah, I won't do that.
I had to find out the hard way. It's kind of like Christmas Story. You're gonna shoot your eye out. Whatever. Turn around and get shot in the eye. You know what I mean? Like,
Hey.
but I mean, it felt good. Felt good to reflect. It felt good to celebrate our women. Like I was saying, our women have carried us. And it shouldn't be on them. It shouldn't be on them. I'm ready to be accountable for what goes on. And it has to start with me. Damn, I couldn't say it. Has to start with me.
Yeah.
Our women have brought us far enough, and they did what they could to hold on to what we got.
What was that video we watched for that training? It's like we got to stand up. We got to hold that.
How? But for sure, that's why I like Will Brady. I get to do the live today, but it's gonna be you and the baddies for the rest of the week, huh?
Oh yeah, you're going down.
Yeah, I'm going
south
down
of
to
I-40?
Lawton. I'm doing should be Andrea, huh? Andrea Alexander will
Oh,
be
she's
facilitating.
facilitating.
Another White Bison certification. But I like in every White Bison certification I've been in, I like how they emphasize what happened to our people.
Yep.
What happened to our people, during the boarding school era. How 99% of the population in America was wiped out, and then Manifest Destiny happened, where it was kill the Indian but save the man.
Mm.
Like I don't know, like that. It doesn't make me mad, and I don't look into it to be mad at anybody. But it's a truth that I think we should all be looking at.
Yep.
It's a truth that all Native Americans had to deal with in one way or another. And, I like the way that White Bison, they're bringing that up in the forefront.
Yeah.
Like,
right on.
that ain't our way. And it was whenever Albert Titman was here, that I realized something like, all those abuses, that mental, that physical, that emotional, and that spiritual, even some sexual, like all them abuses that happened to our people. What unfortunately what happened was they brought that home with them. And now we don't even need those people to do those things to us anymore because we do it to each other. Like that's a powerful thing to like think about.
Yeah.
So I enjoy all these, that's why I like Will Brady. That's why I like, being certified in as much White Bison certifications as I can get.
Yeah.
So I'll be gone in Lawton all week. Go down there with the Numina.
Nice.
Got some brothers down there. Can't wait to go. And I think TJ and them. I hope it's TJ and them.
TJ.
Yeah, brother TJ, but we'll be down there all week. Mingo, Darian, Carmelo, and the baddies, self-proclaimed, will be here.
Hey, we'll hold the fort.
Yeah, hold the fort down. I should
Fort
be back
Concho.
Friday. But yeah. Thank you for all the comments. Like, share, follow. Tell your mammy about us. And we will see you. Well, I guess I'll see you Friday. And they'll be here. So the rest of the gang will be here. Wait, no, just
me.
Just little Resi Desi.
No, I'm gonna miss Theta and Tatum this week.
And Darian.
Well, they don't like to call themselves baddies.
Oh.
Well, the harm reduction hotties are coming with us. Well, the OGs. Resi Desi staying. Yeah. So it'll be Resi Desi, Darian, Domingo, and Carmelo here. And then we're taking the hottest Ron with us. So
Yeah.
The baddest.
the baddest.
The hottest.
But we will see you Friday.